Hi guys, and welcome back to obscure, well, sort of obscure 70s, 80s, and 90s toy lines. So I was on a 3 or 4 month hiatus from this, refilling the coffers of different toys that were kind of obscure from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we're back with a new 6 that I hope that you vaguely remember, and some maybe are brand new to you. So we'll start it off with the first one, which is...Bionic 6 from LJN 1986. So, just looking at them superficially, Bionic 6 looks like they could fit in perfectly with any G.I. Joe line. But really, the backstory is Jack Bonnet, the main character, is half man, half cyborg, and he takes on secret missions. One of his missions goes wrong where he gets his whole family caught in an avalanche, and every family member has to be fitted with a cyborg body part. Then they go on to be crime fighters themselves, taking on the evil Dr. Scarab. There were 13 figures, 2 playsets, and 3 vehicles in this line. There was even a cartoon tied into it that was released by MCA TV. And a side note for the toy collectors out there, the much sought after Fluffy, the robotic ape from the late 80s, is apparently much easier to come by now. I know I'm definitely going to look to pick up a couple of these at the next toy show. Bionic 6. Steve Urkel, Talking Doll by Hasbro, 1991. So if you're too young to remember the Urkel dance, Urkel is a fictional character from the television show Family Matters, who was played by Jaleel White. Urkel was a brilliant but accident-prone neighbor of the main family members. Urkel later became the center of the show, and at the height of the character's popularity, there was t-shirts, trading cards, stickers, a cereal, and even the pull-string talking Urkel doll by Hasbro, which said several of the series' characters' main catchphrases, and they were all voiced by Jaleel White. Did I do that? Sit and Spin by Kenner, 1973. So technically this is still around, so it's kind of hard to put it on the list, but at the same time I didn't want to leave it out because it is still old school, it's never really been in the limelight, and when was the last time you thought about the Sit and Spin? So it was a simplistic design with a flat piece of plastic on the bottom as the base, and funny enough, a top shape for the top. The objective was to spin yourself around as long and as fast as you could by turning yourself. Spinning yourself and getting dizzy was the best part of this toy, or challenging your friends to see if they could outspin you. Play School has since picked up the manufacturing rights to this, and, like I said, you could still find it out now. Next up, we're using a console. This is the HyperScan from 2006 by Mattel. HyperScan was released October 2006, which makes it a part of the 7th generation of gaming consoles. The system used a UDF format CD-ROM. It had 2 controller ports, and the base of the system read cards, which would activate an in-game feature in the save data. The hope was that the consumer would purchase the games and then purchase the cards for extra levels, characters, and powers. The console was discontinued in December 2007. And only saw 5 games released for it: X-Men, Ben 10, Wrestling, Marvel Heroes, and Spider-Man. All mainly fighting games or side-scrolling. The Karate Kid by Remco, 1986. The 86 Karate Kid toy line is kind of based off the movies and kind of based off the short-lived cartoon. There were technically 2 series, but most of the figures were just variations of the same few characters, just with a different tri-action move and mini playset accessory item to break or smash. Series 1 came on a purple, and Series 2 came on a blue or red bubble card. 3 playsets were also produced: the Attack Alley, Competition Corner, and Sato's Cannery, each with breakable interactive items for the figures. Double Dragon, Tyco, 1993. You know, whenever I think Tyco, I just think remote control cars. One day, 2 boys shall be born with the dragon tattoo. They, and only they, will have the ability to release the powers of the dragon sword. As long as they are united, justice will triumph over evil. So this is based off the cartoon, based off the video game series. So you have Billy Lee and Jimmy Lee as the double dragons. Blaster and Vortex make up the good guys, or the Dragon Warriors, while they fight the evil Shadow Master. Sickle and Trigger making up the bad guys, or the Shadow Warriors. 3 vehicles were released for this short-lived series. And that's going to do it for episode 18, guys. Another 6 toys, bringing our grand total to 128 toy lines we've covered. 128 obscure toy lines from the last 4 decades. This channel, guys, all happens because of you. This series is because of your comments, your likes, your shares. I really appreciate it. I'm truly humbled that I've done 18 different episodes in this series. Keep the suggestions coming, because your suggestions are what help fuel the next episodes. And going along with that, guys, do you want to see more toys covered in an episode with a shorter little synopsis, 30 to 40 seconds, kind of like Status Quo? Or do you want me to scale down and do 2 or 3 toys and talk about more about the story, who made them, you know, toy specs? People want to hear about bubble cards. So let me know down in the comments what you'd prefer, and we'll try and keep the series going along as best we can. Again, thank you so much.